Yeah.
Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps. Whoops. It is I, your host with the most, Renaissance man who always thinks he can, a champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard of Streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, Smackdown Breakdown edition. And you can't break down, smack it down without the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
what's going on? We're here.
We're here.
We're back in the Yard of Streams,
We're
and
here.
Sara, I'm feeling good. It may be the 4 or 5 BL smoothies that I might have just taken down, but you know that's what happens when you celebrate life. So, but we're feeling good. I'm off for 2 days. No need to sling some fish. I just want to relax. And get this, Sara.
Hmm.
No one wants to do anything tonight. How rude. So you know what I'm gonna
It's
do?
Christmas Eve. So
Yeah, but I'm off. Champ wants to party. You know how I'm gonna party? Turning on TNT, watching some Collision.
alrighty. If you want to go to sleep early, that's one way to do it.
I mean, I was actually just thinking, like, because I watch Collision on DVR, you know, Sundays right before football on the second TV, so we know what's going on. But with this Continental Classic that they got going on right now, some matches are pay-per-view worthy. They're just being put on television for free, like Bryan Danielson taking on Claudio Castagnoli. That would be a pay-per-view match. I just think that'd be pretty good. And yeah, I just it's not too bad. Nice way to start the day. And I know it's AEW, but they've been making the news, whatnot. So for more reasons than not. But we're gonna talk about SmackDown, Sara. And as I said to you before we hopped in here, I watched the entire thing. First
Yes.
try. Did not fall asleep. That's how exciting and awake we were during it. And
I was multitasking.
Yeah,
when I was watching it. I had to write articles at the same time.
You're a busy gal. You're firing all your muskets, you know, with the fans. So I get it. But it was a good show. I mean, it's got to the point where Raw's 3 hours, so you know I'm gonna conk out at some point during the show.
Yeah.
But they packed so much in those 2 hours on SmackDown that it flies. Like, I didn't even know the main event was happening until they're like, and it's time for the main event. I'm like, really? What time is it? Like, we're getting to that stage, and I'm very happy about it.
Okay, Grandpa.
Okay. You know what? It's fine. Just call the younger man Grandpa. It's fine. What's going on with our peeps? We have 4 comments here. Oh yeah, can't wait. King and Razor, what's up? Urban Nation, Daddy's back. Damn right, Daddy's back. And then I'm going to use that Christmas Eve. We are a
That
day
is
away.
what it is.
I miss the days of old with Pittsmas Eve, which I don't know if that's what we call it in our household. Pittsmas
Yeah,
Eve.
I'm sure they do.
We do. I'm not. It was
Okay.
Pittsmas Eve. It was for years. It was legendary. My brother would be up at 3 a.m. just like with him telling stories about Billy Christ. Did you know Jesus had a brother, Sara? No, his name was Billy. Look him up. Google him. So, King Razor already got a question. How'd you come up with your YouTube name, Sara Marshall?
It's my name. That's my real name.
No,
so it didn't take much thought. It's my real first and last name. So don't forget about it.
There you go. Love
Wink.
that. Wink, eh? So yeah, what happened, Sara? Let's just hop right into it for the peeps.
All right. I was like, are you clicking it too? No. Are you clicking? Really?
No,
Okay, so it's just glitching on my end. That's fine.
It
Okay.
is.
All right. So we started up the show with Mr. Bay J Styles. Did you hear what I said there?
I
Bay?
did catch
Okay.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
Bay, nice.
Yeah. And we're going with the all black. We're going with the like I'm going to do absolutely nothing. I'm going to give you nothing in my entrance energy, which I'm all for it. He's like I'm here for business, bro. I'm not here to like cater to the fans. I'm not going to do my thing. I'm going to just come out here and walk to the ring cuz that's why I'm here. So he just gets on the mic and says he really doesn't care about Randy Orton or LA Knight or what they're trying to do, that he only cares about Roman Reigns because obviously that is the reason why he was gone for however long. And I don't even know how long they were that he was gone.
3
Uh,
months.
but then we have LA Knight come out and he's like, hey, not so fast, brother. Okay. You can have Roman Reigns after me. So LA Knight is like, nope, sorry, we're gonna fight over this tribal chief because maybe you want him as your tribal chief, but I need him as mine. And AJ says that Knight that LA stepped over him to get to Roman while he was out by tagging with Cena and then getting to Roman. So that is part of the reason why AJ like took him out last week. And he says that anyone else who gets in his way, he will step over them as well, which then prompts Randy Orton to come out. He says that he wants Roman because him and the bloodline took him out for 18 months. LA Knight says, okay, well, you guys are fighting about who gets to get to Roman first because you guys got taken out by him. But he wasn't. I was not taken out by him, nor was I taken out by the bloodline. And then it just gets, messy.
It
So
gets messy.
comes out and he's like, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. He's like, you guys all have a right to want to get your hands on Roman Reigns. So how about this? In 2 weeks, now SmackDown is getting their own equivalent to Day One, which I am so excited about. Theirs is going to be called New Year's Revolution, which I love it.
I love
And
the name. I'm
me,
a big fan of the name.
me too. So he sets up a triple threat between AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Randy Orton to take place at that show in 2 weeks. And whoever wins will become the number one contender for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship and will take on Roman Reigns for the title at Royal Rumble. So we had kind of talked about that idea, I think, but we thought maybe it was going to happen at like Elimination Chamber or something, but or at the Rumble.
Mhm.
But I think that's the easiest way to kind of settle this, honestly. And then this kind of like gets Roman in the clear probably for after the Rumble. Like he'll have the title match here and it's like, well, it's fair because that was the number one contender. And then if Cody wins the Rumble, then like there's no real beef still there with Roman. Like maybe he could even do a match at the Elimination Chamber to settle that before Mania. But I think this is a good idea. It's a good match for the Rumble too, especially since we didn't even know if Roman was going to be there. So I'm excited that he is.
No, I like that Roman's going to be at the Rumble, okay, but my problem is, why can't Nick Aldis just put his foot down and make this a fatal 4-way? Why are we competing for one like, I wanna see a fatal 4-way. Why not?
I'm guessing I don't know. I think it's just easier, I guess, maybe to have it limited to just one person going after Roman. And then it also makes it a little bit easier for after the Rumble to kind of like sever ties with the other two or all three of them basically trying to go after Roman. If not, it can be settled at the Elimination Chamber, especially because we don't know who's going to win the Rumble. And that's the thing is
I
like,
have
I
no
think that
idea.
plays a huge role in maybe why they're doing a triple threat of, 3 weeks or whatever before the Rumble, because it's like, we don't know who's going to win. So it's like, does this triple threat make sense? Like, should it be a fatal 4-way and then it just ends it that way? And then now that means that Roman can just focus on whoever the Rumble winner is if they choose him. It's like, it's so hard to really try and figure it out.
There's a lot you can do with this. like just because these three guys are fighting, and even me saying that there's going to be a fatal or should be, I mean, a fatal four way, it doesn't it it extends Roman until Mania, where
Mhm.
he has to fight either obviously Cody Rhodes or the Rumble winner, you
Mhm.
know. And with the fatal four way, to me, it just seems like the easiest move. You know, why are you gonna go and try to just have one person go after the title at Royal Rumble? Where I mean, we're gonna talk about it, but you know, if Nick Aldis wants to put his foot down and lay down the law, you know, one way to do this would be just being like, you three want a match, you three give good reasons why you deserve a match. I'm gonna put all three of you and kind of shove it to Roman because of how he's treating me so far.
I kind of see this is the thing. I think it almost feels to me, at least like my guess, is they're trying to extend it to Elimination Chamber. And part of that could work if Cody doesn't win the Rumble. Maybe whoever wins the Rumble picks Seth. And then Cody is like, oh my God, like, when am I going to get my title shot? Blah, blah, blah. Whoever doesn't win the triple threat to face Roman at Mania, which I assume is going to be LA Knight and AJ Styles. I assume Randy Orton is going to be the one that wins. Maybe those two will be like, no, I still want my chance. And then they'll be like the two in the Elimination Chamber. Cody tries to figure a way to manipulate himself into that match. And maybe they could even throw in Randy if Randy
No, throw Solo.
something. But I just mean
Throw
like they
Solo.
could throw someone in there and like, because to me, like, I would so much prefer that way for Cody to get to Roman than him winning the Rumble again. And I think that's partially why I like this scenario, because the idea of him winning the Rumble 2 years in a row and that's the way he gets his title shot is just kind of like, I guess it makes
Yeah,
more
it falls
sense.
flat. It falls flat.
I think the only way that I would be more okay with it, and that's like, or okay with it at all, I guess, is if he was literally number one and fought for like an hour in the match, because then it would be like, okay, well, he didn't enter at 30 and then
Yeah,
win like
content. You'd
10
be
minutes
content with
later.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, like if he came in at number one or number two, then it's like, okay, he battled, like he earned this, right? Like, whereas last year you could say, oh, of course we knew, like, we knew he was returning. It was probably obvious that he was going to return at 30. And so, of course, he's going to win. So, at least this way, it's like, I think they should either have him be at one or two if he's going to win the Rumble, or don't have him win the Rumble and have him have to figure it out. Because then remember, we saw that conversation or that like hidden little backstage moment of Cody
With
talking
all
to
this.
Nick Aldis, and they never addressed what that was about.
And
So,
one thing that WWE has been doing really well is the long play in their stories. I mean,
mhm.
I'm pretty sure I saw a Karrion Cross banner. We're going to talk about that and the
Yes, yeah,
longevity of it and the long play of it. They're doing that now because they have someone in charge who wants to do that type of thing right
yeah.
now. So why not do that in this scenario? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It just makes sense.
And I think, I mean, that doesn't mean that like CM Punk has to win, because I know a lot of people will want to see Cody win, or a lot of people want to see CM Punk win. I think that somebody else could win. We could even have Drew McIntyre win, if he doesn't beat him at day one.
Yo,
Um, but like,
you'd be a
I
two
feel like
winner.
Cody winning just kind of like, I just don't know how many people are going to respond to it other than like positively, other than the people who are like, I'm a Cody Rhodes fan and I'm only a Cody Rhodes fan and I'm going to support him no matter what he does. And that's it. Like,
See,
I
they,
only
yeah,
pay attention to him.
yeah.
And that's not a lot of people, like if you watch professional wrestling, you have more than one favorite. Like if you watch it religiously, you
You
don't
have more.
pick one wrestler and
You have more than one
obsess
favorite.
over that one person. So I mean, I don't think that people would be mad, but I don't know that it would be as satisfying as seeing somebody else. So like, I feel if we're talking about finishing the story, how much more interesting is it to see Cody had to like, oh God, like another bump in the road is he didn't win the Rumble. So how is he going to get his shot at Roman this year? Like that makes it so much more fascinating when they have to retell the story in like 10 years.
And politicking his way to get there because
Yeah.
he knows he was screwed, and he knows
Mm.
that if he has to finish his story, then he has to do some dirty things. that will, the age-old saying, "Careful what you wish for." It would kind of flow into
And
that.
we already saw, like, not, I would say that there's not mutual tension between Aldis and Roman. It's definitely Roman not liking Aldis, but because they set that up and he's already not happy about the triple threat being made, obviously Roman's going to retain at Royal Rumble. He's probably going to get help, which is going to piss off Aldis, which is then going to be like, okay, you think that you're just going to get away with this? Let's put together the Elimination Chamber, and to piss Roman off even more, he'll put Cody in it. And that is going to really piss off Roman, because it's like, what are you doing? Like, why would you do that? He already had his chance, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
So it could even be Cody, Roman, LA Knight, AJ Styles. Oh, I'm sorry, Cody, AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Randy. That's what I meant in the Elimination Chamber.
And then Roman makes 5. You need to add one more.
Or I guess, well,
and
don't
you
put
need to
Roman
have-
in. No, you don't put Roman in the Elimination Chamber. I guess you could maybe put Jimmy and Solo in it.
So Roman's not gonna be
not in the Elimination. No, he won't be in the Elimination Chamber. He'll fight at the Rumble, and then he won't fight again until Mania.
That's ass.
I wouldn't be mad about that. I mean, just because if it's according to the story that I said.
Yeah, if it makes sense for him not to be at the Elimination Chamber, then fine. I'm for it.
Well, because then that would be his way of like trying to manipulate the system. If all this is going to try and manipulate it against Roman by being like, okay, well, you screwed Randy again by getting help at the Rumble, I'm gonna now put together an Elimination Chamber match, and whoever wins that is going to be your opponent at Mania. And Roman's way of manipulating it is by throwing Solo and Jimmy in there, because he's going to be like, oh, okay, well, then I have some numbers in there who are going to try and make sure none of these other guys win, so I don't have to face any of them. And that's the way that Cody gets thrown in. I would be fine with that, because if Roman fights at Elimination Chamber, he's not losing. So that's why I'm like, I would be fine with him skipping it, because if he's going to lose, it's going to be at Mania. It's not going to be anywhere else. So if he can skip one pay-per-view, I'm fine with that. If it's that one, if this is the scenario like that they go with, that's it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you there.
Do we have any comments?
We do have a lot. I'm looking at some. We have Ultra Boy.
Hello.
Winter break just started for me. I miss winter break so much.
I know. I'm like, every day is winter break, but you're working.
I'm legitimately just slinging fish.
Yeah, I don't know what days off are.
No,
not yet.
We don't take days or nights off, Sarah.
Because I have good news to share soon.
Oh
people. My God! Yeah. Exciting.
Okay, we'll do this one first. Batista be 30 and eliminate Punk and Cody and win the Rumble. The fans will revolt. That actually, I would not be surprised if we actually saw fire and pitchforks at headquarters if that happens. Just throwing that out there. Don't do it. Don't speak into existence Drax being a three-time Rumble winner. I can't do it.
I'm almost so on board with whoever wins challenges Seth or Drew, depending on who's the champion.
What do you think of Finn winning?
Don't. Oh my God, that would be sick, because then Damian and him would be like, if he won at Mania and then Damian's like, and then cashes in on him or it's like threatening to. Don't tease that.
For real.
I cannot. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Just a little more. Just a little more.
Seeing Finn win and Cody win at the same show.
What if
the emotions, the hormones?
Dominic Mysterio wins the Rumble.
No. I feel like it's gonna be Punk
It's no, it's not Punk. I'll
Well,
tell
I'm
you
just
right now.
saying. No, I'm saying the only ones that people are talking about really.
Have
I would say,
seen. Okay.
yeah,
Yep.
Punk or Drew. Like if we're eliminating Cody,
Drew's good.
Punk or Drew, depending
Drew's
because we don't know if Drew's going to win at day one or not. Oh my god, now you have me on the Finn train, and that's just not fair.
Oh,
But that would
I
be
hit a
so
nerve.
sick for their storytelling, and then Finn getting the ultimate revenge on. Oh no, but then we have Seth and Cody. I'm sorry, Seth and Punk at Mania, so that wouldn't be revenge on
It's
Seth.
they're doing Seth and Punk at Mania.
I know, so that's
Like
why
Seth
I'm
is
saying never
losing the
mind.
title.
Finn versus Seth wouldn't happen at Mania is all I meant.
I'm trying to see if there's Bob Backlund has a 2,135 day reign, which WWE no longer mentions, just to
No,
elevate Roman. Are
I
you
did
aware
not.
of this?
No.
I knew that Hogan wasn't the next one, or I knew that Backlund's in there. I think it goes. Someone can fact check me here in the comments, but I think it goes San Martino, Backlund, Morales, Hogan, or San Martino, Backlund, Hogan. But I feel like Pedro Morales is in there somewhere. Someone's got to back check me on that because we're cooking here. And Vinny is here. What's popping, dude? Yeah. Would Sarah's head explode if Yeet wins?
The Rumble? Yeah. Not in a good way either.
It's
Nothing
just
against
him, Oods.
no. Mm-mm. And it's not even like I just don't like him. It's not that I don't like him. That's not the case. It's just like I no.
Sami Zayn is another one that I think is a good option to win. King Rays, let's answer it right now. Fuck it. It's a 2-hour show. And by that I mean SmackDown, not Raw. Were you impressed when wrestling games started to add voice acting? Not really. I think it was just
No, it was always kind of bad. I feel like
yeah,
it always sounded like AI generated.
it really is. It doesn't sound like them. It just kind of improved. What player made you a fan of the Celtics? Paul Pierce.
Yeah, and
Straight up
Kevin
the truth.
Garnett. Come on
The
now.
truth, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dude was stabbed in a nightclub like John Cena, and then came back and played an entire season.
He shit his
God,
pants and then came back. No, I'm just kidding.
and then he wrecked his knee,
Mhm.
exploded everywhere, and then somehow miraculously came back in the second half to drop 6 threes or 4 threes or something against the Lakers. I mean, how could you not?
Mhm.
And then is Allen Iverson your 20 favorite players list? 20? Yes. 20,
I
absolutely.
I am not
10, no.
I am not well versed enough in the NBA to have 20 favorites. So
No, he's not in my top 10, definitely in top 20.
because
For
like
sure.
my favorite Celtic right now is Al Horford. So I
Al
love
Horford
Daddy.
he's daddy. Yeah, I mean, Jason Tatum's mine. I am obsessed with Tatum. I mean, he's the face of Boston sports right now, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
And then where do we have any here? No, where's this one? No, I got that one already. All right, you're good. Oh no, this was one. There we go. Christy Hemme entering the Women's Royal Rumble. I could just see it just because it's an old diva, but like other than that, I don't have any like logistic reason why.
Is she someone who's made allegations against Vince McMahon?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I want to say she was one of the ones who may have done that. And if that's the case, I feel like if they may not do that at least for a while, given
Yeah,
the circumstances.
I don't know. I'm not
I
gonna
think it was
comment.
alluded to that the most like some of the more recent ones that happened like earlier this year or last year when Vince was like kind of like booted. I swear her name was one of the ones that people were thinking that was who the unnamed woman was. And I'm not positive, but if it is, then I would assume one, she probably doesn't want to come back if that is the case. And two, because Vince is still around, I like even if it's not around that much, I would assume they don't want
He's
to
there.
bring
Yeah.
that, they don't want to deal with that right now. They want to stay away from controversy as much as possible.
Yeah.
All right, so then we get to Damage Control versus Bianca, Shotzi, Zelina Vega, and Mia Yim. Was this a no DQ or like a Christmas match or something? What were they
It
calling
was a Holiday Havoc
Okay,
8-woman tag match.
okay, a
Tornado
Holiday Havoc
style.
match. And this was actually one of the more entertaining matches, I think, that had
1,000%.
uh
A lot of fun.
you know, these like the holiday stipulation, because I think a lot of the time when they do these, they're just not that good. And I don't know if it's just because they don't do them that often or what, but I mean, like, they were using literally everything in this match. Chairs were brought out immediately. Kyrie and Asuka were beating Mia with kendo sticks, and they returned the favor. Bianca and Shotzi returned it to Kyrie and
They
Asuka.
nailed her in the
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
That was a bad spot.
And then there was tables, there were chairs, there were suicide dives. This is awesome chants. There were Christmas trees that get knocked over that Kevin Patrick was very upset about. But the biggest part about this was, hey girlies, Isla, Dawn, and Elba Fire are back for real this time. And I say question mark because they've been teased a handful of times since they were called up earlier this year, and we've never really seen anything from it except for a few vignettes and then a couple teases of them like being back, but they've never
They
were
were like
back.
they were night 2 of Halloween Havoc's hosts.
Yeah, and it's like,
Scarlett and
okay,
Shotzi got the night off, so they took
yeah,
over.
so it's just been a mess, but I really liked how they did this, and I really hope that this means that they're going to be back and that maybe they are going to have a feud. The thing that's interesting though is that they went after Damage Control. So
I love that. No, I
I
love
do.
that.
I do, but what's funny is like I feel like they haven't been able to decide what they wanted, like which path they're trying to take Isla and Alba down, because it's like when they first brought them around, you thought maybe they were supposed to be heels, but then they were like talking to Rhonda and Shayna and everyone hated them, so it was like, okay, they're not the heels in this situation, but then in other situations, and out of the few, sorry, hiccup, that we've seen them since they were on Smackdown, they were definitely supposed to be the bad guys in the situation. This is them going against the top female heels on Smackdown, so that's like,
I
I
feel like
don't,
it's the curse and the lore that they bring. And with
yeah,
all the friction going on in Damage Control right now, they're the type of faction or tag team that praise on that, and they're gonna say you're cursed for this and whatnot. So, and there's a lot that they can intertwine stories with the
because they
cursing of the tag titles, cursing Damage Control,
or they
and
can even try to like be helpful to Bailey to try and see like,
to
Bailey, they're
lure, yeah.
manipulating you, they're working
Yes.
behind your back, blah blah blah. That would be interesting.
They'd be like the anti-heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love that role for them, being the anti-heroes, because you want, like, I want to like them. I don't
Yeah.
want them to be dicks, but
Yeah.
you do need that like dark side to them. It's sometimes the dark side there can be good from it.
Yeah.
And they need to show that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we'll talk about it in a second, but someone said too that they would be good from what we've seen in the teases we've seen so far and Karrion Kross's new group. They could
And
be like an intriguing.
what if they like align themselves, not like in it, but they
Yeah.
have like a coexisting relationship type of
Mm-hmm.
thing? I could
Since
see that.
I mean, they are supposed to all be into the like, magic and like whatever, and then
Witchcraft. It's
yeah,
basically witchcraft.
and Carrion and Scarlet have played with that too. So it's like that lines up, you know?
And Scarlett had a little interaction with them at NXT. Could bring that back up. Like,
Yeah. So I'm really
like
excited because I'm here for it. I've wanted to see them actually involved in something. So I'm really hoping that since they went after Damage Control, that means, okay, yeah, we have plans for them, because that's not just going against, like, I don't know, Tegan and Natalia, like where it's like, okay, like this is actually them going against some of the top people in the company right now.
Bailey took the pin last night, right?
No, Io.
Io took the pin. Oh, then that's why Mia gets the okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I was like, wait a second. No. And
I
then we
love
move
that.
on to easily the match of the night. I'm sorry. You can't argue with me. You can't argue with me.
This was incredible.
I would say this is probably up there for match of the year, in my opinion. Not as match of the year, but
Really?
in
A
the top
candidate?
10. In the
Okay.
top 10. In the top 10. And it was a random Smackdown, which is why I'm saying like that's incredible. Like I'm not gonna say this is the match of the year, but come on. This was phenomenal. And it was for the North American Championship, Dragon Lee versus Pete Dunne. And I don't know what to say about Dragon Lee. Okay, I'm obsessed. That man is incredible. He can work with anybody, and then we know that Pete Dunne hasn't been able to really showcase the type of things that he can fully do. There's a reason why he was the bruiserweight, and there's a reason why he was at the top of NXT for as long as he was, NXT UK and NXT. And I think it was a great idea to split him from the Brawling Brutes. I do think he needs more of a gimmick than just like, it's fight night. We need more than that. I'm always bringing the fight. Okay, well, that's boring. Like,
It's so mid. It's just so
it's
mid.
it's just boring. Like, I think that we're, maybe whoever is revealed as his tag partner, which we'll get to later, maybe that'll add more to it. But otherwise, it's just like the same thing. It's like what they were doing the Brawling Brutes. It was like, it's fight night. And it's like, okay, like what
What
else?
else?
Oh,
What
so
else you got for me?
yeah, but this was incredible, and it got good time as well. And I just the bitter end into the destroyer, bro.
Yo,
What?
that move,
What?
anytime that you pull out a destroyer, you're gonna get me to pop. I mark out for destroyers like nobody's business. And the fact that they're doing it's a counter from a finishing move, like well done. Like,
Yeah.
and this brings up, I wanted to bring this up. Is he the next
Yes.
Ray?
Yeah.
And when you say the next Ray, no, he's not gonna be Rey Mysterio.
He's
But
going to
when
be the
you think
next face of like the
Lucha,
yeah,
yes,
for the company. Yeah.
1000%. And that's all you want is a guy like that. Because how fun was watching Rey Mysterio when we were younger?
Mhm.
Like, this man was doing shit that I've never seen before. And
Yeah.
now Dragon Lee is doing shit I've never seen before. And
Mhm.
it's just in the match quality that he's having. He had an unbelievable one on NXT with in a triple threat to retain. And
Yeah.
then you go on SmackDown and have this banger with Pete Dunne. Like, dude's it.
Well, that's
Dude
what
is
I'm
it.
saying. It's like he can do it with anybody. Because there's sometimes where when you're a very specific type of wrestler, because obviously he's a high flyer and like just very acrobatic and whatever, sometimes those types of wrestlers only really do well in matches with people with a similar style because like they're so used to doing things one way or so used to performing with others that do the same thing as them, especially if they're
Mhm,
like in the lucha scene, like the luchador scene, like they're all doing that type of stuff. So
mhm.
that's not Dragon Lee though. Like he's so good, and it's like it doesn't have to be a small guy. It doesn't have to be another high flyer. Like, I mean, obviously Pete Dunne is a smaller guy, but he leads with strength. So it's like it's not the same. So I'm really excited because I feel like Vince maybe was a little bit hesitant in trying to find kind of like the next generation or this next generation's Rey Mysterio equivalent, kind of. And
Mhm.
part of it is because he's always against like the high flyers and the shorter people, like shorter dudes. And they experimented with some of the random, we had Sin Cara, Faux Cara, um, what was the other one? What was the other one who said we're doing lucha things? Uh
Kalisto?
Yeah, Kalisto, like, they were trying to bring
They
in, like
try with Kalisto. He was
yeah,
alright. I was a fan of Kalisto.
I love that promo, though, because he just, like, his mind just went completely blank, and he's like, Lucia doing Lucia things," and it's like, "Yeah,
That's
okay."
that's
Um,
a Bunch Man classic.
yeah, so I think that, I mean, they've hit the nail on the head here, like, brilliant that you were able to bring this guy in, and then, like, this is somebody that you don't have to worry about. You say, okay, we're going to give you a match against so and so. Like, you don't even have to watch it because it's going to be a banger. Like, it's
Yeah,
going to be
you know you're
fine.
gonna do well.
Yeah. So, I was very excited about that. Definitely a great match.
It was fantastic.
And then we move on to, which we kind of alluded to a little bit earlier, with Nick Aldis. He sat down and have a conversation with the tribal chief. But you know what? He ain't scared of no tribal chief. Okay. So first, we see Roman in the back in his locker room, and he's like, who's the general manager of SmackDown? Trying to act like he doesn't know. And Paul Heyman lets him know, and then he says, okay, well, bring him here. And Paul kind of tries to like warn him, but he's like, I don't care. So not all this shows up, and Roman immediately just tries to intimidate him and is like, oh, so you booked the triple threat? And you booked Solo versus AJ? And Nick's like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, you know, that's great and all, but these are the types of things that you need to run by me beforehand. Because as the tribal chief and the head of the table, everything goes through me. Adam Pearce understood that. And Nick Aldis is like, oh, now you're just trying to hurt my feelings or something. And I'm like,
That was classic line. That was really classic. Good line.
He says, well, first and foremost, I'm an executive, so I don't have feelings. And I was like, king stuff, man. He says, the buck stops with me. I'm the sharp stick on SmackDown now. And, you know, when it comes to this match, like, Solo's a big boy. He can take care of AJ Styles. Like, look, he took care of John Cena, and it looks like he did it in a much better way than you could handle John Cena. And yeah, but then what I really liked, okay, was when he said, I really hope we can get to know each other better. And I was like, Nick Aldis is teasing Nick Aldis versus Roman Reigns. Come on now.
I mean, it's gonna happen. It needs to happen. I don't know what we're doing if we don't have that happen.
I am so excited because so far, shout out to Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis in their executive roles, because in the past they've been pretty bad. I mean, there were years where it wasn't so bad, like William Regal when he was like a GM or whatever. Like, he wasn't
NXT,
bad.
He slapped in NXT. He was very
even
good.
Like early 2000s, I mean. Like,
right. Yeah, he wasn't bad either.
Yeah, but then it was like when they had other ones over the years, it was so bad and so
who
just
was
like
that announcer? Mike something. He was terrible.
Oh,
2008, 9, whatever it was. He was terrible.
Oh, I don't know. But so, you know, when they brought back the GM role, I was a little bit nervous about it because I was like, okay, like, even not that long ago when they had that, still, it just wasn't good. Like, it just didn't make any sense, and they were too involved and like played favorites and stuff. Like, it wasn't good. And I think they've done a wonderful job so far because they're not biased, they're not playing favorites, they're not doing anything. Like, from what you can tell, and they've said it, like, they're very much about the fans and the show and like what's best for business. And so I like that they don't take any shit. And that was something that Nick like made very clear. Like, I don't care, Roman, that you're the champion. I don't care what you want and that you get your way with your people. That ain't
my show.
Yeah, that ain't happening here, brother. So very excited. And then, of course, we know that Nick Aldis is not done wrestling, guys. Come on. He's not done. So I think at some point, Nick Aldis versus Roman Reigns. Yes, please. Yes,
I didn't expect that to be a match I would want to see.
Right?
But now how things are playing out, I really want to see that match. Like,
and that's why I was saying earlier, like, we could see it even progress further if Nick keeps doing things to intentionally piss off Roman. That's why I said, like, if Cody doesn't win the Rumble, throw him in the Elimination Chamber and say, like, whoever wins is against you at Mania. Like, these types of things can build up that tension to long-term storytelling. So whenever they can, or maybe if they do ever face each other, Roman can be like, yeah, I've hated you since this time, you know?
Yeah.
That would be sick.
That would be on.
Okay, you want to get to comments?
Yeah, Urban Nation. It was Mike Adamle. That's
There
what
you
I
go.
could. Oh my god, I've seen so many clips about that because that was like kind of when I was going through my hiatus and becoming the champ of the Patriot Peeps, and so I don't really remember all that, but I've seen a lot of like top tens and stuff with him, and god damn, he was terrible, just awful. I mean,
still
not
feel
knowing
like
Jeff Hardy's name.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Mike Rome, is it Mike Rome who announces on SmackDown? That dude sounds like
Yes.
Justin Roberts. It actually scares me.
He does sound a little bit like the Dapper Yapper.
I've
I don't
heard
know if
he's
you
a little
remember this.
creepy too, by the way.
Mike Rome or the Dapper
Uh,
Yapper?
yeah, Roberts.
Okay. Interesting. Sin Cara did a suicide dive outside the ring. Someone dislocated his finger, called the ref to stop the match.
I
That's
remember.
tough. That is.
I do think part of the I mean, I remember that. I do remember that. I also think part of the problem with the original Sin Cara is like they had no one there to like speak to him because he didn't speak English. So I think that part of the problem was the language barrier, and of course, it seemed like they didn't respect him enough to like bother to have anyone that could communicate with him. And I feel like that's kind of what ended up ruining his WWE career. So like I hope that if he was able to like leave and still wrestle that he's been successful, because I mean it was a huge deal when he was signed by WWE and then it just fell flat.
All right. All good.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna move on.
Okay, so then let's get to the United States Championship tourney, which we see Kevin Owens versus Carmelo Hayes first of all, and we see Logan Paul was continuing to stay relevant by video, and he says that last week Carmelo impressed him, and now he feels bad for him because he has to take on the disgusting Kevin Owens, and much like these matches have been, I don't have a whole lot to say other than this was a great match. I mean,
Yeah, this is really just not like to go into like technical stuff. Not like this did its job. It showed that Melo can hang on the roster and hang in with guys like Kevin Owens. I wanted Melo to win. I really did, but after KO got the pin, I thought about it and I'm like, well, this was the right decision. You need to have KO in the finals. And it's not Melo's time.
No, he's
It's
still got
really not.
unfinished business in NXT.
Exactly. We still have to wrap up the Trick Williams saga, and for him to win makes no sense. And
Yeah, so we also see the mutual showing of respect at the end where they shake hands. So that was cool. And then we get into the next match, which was Bobby Lashley versus Santos Escobar. Again, this was another good match. And I feel like it seemed like most people thought it was going to be Bobby Lashley that was going to win. But given the rise that they're trying to give to Santos right now, it makes sense that he ended up winning. But of course, he can't win clean because that would be too easy and unbelievable. Sorry, you're not beating Bobby Lashley. Let's be real. And we finally see what everyone has been rumored to be, that was going to be happening, which was two masked men show up and they take out the suit profits, which catches the attention of Bobby, and he is distracted enough for Santos to get the pin. And then we finally get the reveal of the masked men, and it kind of, I mean, Santos was just screaming like, this is my family, blah blah blah, like F my old family. So
yeah, really nothing there.
Yeah, so we're going to see Santos versus Kevin Owens. If you got to ask me, it's Kevin Owens. We're going to see Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul at the Royal Rumble, probably for the US Championship. And I am actually for that. I'm good with that.
What do you think the outcome will be?
I think that they're going to probably keep the title on Logan until at least Mania. I don't think that they're going to have him lose in his first defense.
I hate that KO is becoming the guy that just is a big name you beat. I wanted to see win.
Yeah, but then if we're thinking big picture, if we were thinking that there might be a way to get LA Knight versus Logan Paul at Mania,
that's true.
Then you got to be okay with what happens between.
I'm okay with it.
Oh, geez. I did that when I was in an interview, dude, or on the podcast the other day. I like tried to move my elbow and my elbow fell off the side of the chair.
Oh, that's scary.
And I was
that's
like,
a scary thing to happen.
Yeah, it's also embarrassing when you're live in front of like a few thousand people.
That is true. That is a little weird.
What's a lame angle? I don't know. Anyway, then we move on to Karrion Are you gonna pop up or nah? Okay. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I
I
don't
thought you were
know.
waiting for it. I did not know
No,
what
it's
you were
gonna.
doing
I
there.
think it's gonna pop down again. Yep.
Called
Okay.
it. Aldous.
What is going on? There we go. Okay. So
Yes, I want to talk about this. Let's talk
yes.
about it.
So we get another Karrion Kross vignette teasing his like not even a return. I guess it's kind of a return, his reinvention of himself, which is kind of actually not a reinvention of himself, as it's basically just building upon how he's gotten to this point. So they're going with the cursing of his former opponents, which is kind of what we were saying we thought maybe Alba and Isla were going to go with. So now they're doing that with Karrion. And he talks about how after he faced when he dealt with the bloodline, they fell apart. He took away Drew's temperament, and look at where he's at now. He took out Ray, and then Ray was feuding with his own child. He says he took away Nakamura's armor, and look at what he's doing now. And he basically confirms that yes, the authors of pain are going to be within this group with him. And I think this is such a brilliant move by the creative team, because I think, you know, we kind of compared him in some respects to Baron Corbin, and that they just, it's like, yeah, they're talented, but they just never knew what to do with them. And then it's like they kept trying and it just wasn't working. But like with Corbin, they had to kind of like really start over with him. It was like, okay, shave your head, and then now you're going to be poor, and now you're going to be rich, and now you're going to be a lone wolf again. You know, like it was like
Yeah.
completely redoing it. And I think with Karrion, it's like everyone has spoken so highly of him, and so you knew that they were going to do all that they can to make something work. And I think the best way to go about that is to act like everything that has led up to this point plays to why we're at this point, and that we're not just forgetting everything since he returned to the company.
Exactly.
Because others,
Exactly.
if it was a different situation or a different era, that would be the way they would go about it. They would have had him shave his head again, and he would have been going by a different name or something, you know, like
Yeah.
I think this is a great way to involve everything and not make it seem like pointless.
Well, yeah, it just makes sense. With the way things are going now, you want to have the fan as invested as possible, and the way you're doing that is by connecting stuff. I mean, you forgot that he feuded with Ray a little bit. I did,
Mm,
and then to add on that, oh yeah, and I just did not. I just had fun with Nakamura for, shits and giggles, and you have connecting that into his whole heel turn whatnot, Drew with the patience, like just stuff like that makes it builds him up. It builds
mhm,
up Karrion Kross, where he's not just this jobber or filler in tournament matches or whatnot anymore. Like he actually has some sort of substance. And the Authors of Pain need to be like bodyguard figures for him. And then
mhm,
because the Authors of Pain need their own bodyguard in a sense, you bring back Paul Ellering, and then you could make this like faction, because right now factions are the hottest thing.
mhm.
I'm all for it. I think this is gonna send Carrion to the moon, potentially put him in the main event picture. I love it.
I also like it because we said it before too, that they might be able to use some aspects that they toyed with when talking about doing the Wyatt Six. Obviously, we're never
Mhm.
going to see that, but we know that Carrion was involved in the ideas and the planning of what they were going to ultimately do when Bray was able to come back. So obviously, they're not going to just take all of those ideas, but I think they can build upon it in a different way, because Carrion's not Bray Wyatt. So it's not going to be
Really?
similar, but their characters have that like supernatural element to them, so it's not like a far jump from what they were going to do with what they could do now. And I feel like
Mhm.
that's kind of exciting, because we don't have that right now. And although sometimes it can be kind of cheesy because it's like, oh, it's supernatural, that's not real, there's not a lot of that kind of stuff in wrestling anymore, which is what people loved, you know, in the
Yeah.
90s and the 80s and stuff like that. And I think the way they've gone about it so far hasn't made you feel like, oh, this is so cheesy, like this is so stupid. I think they've done it
Yeah.
the right way. And I feel like, yeah, based on what we've seen so far from these vignettes and stuff, I'm really excited to see like what it ultimately ends up being, because it's also a fascinating faction of people.
Yeah, very weird assortment of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Not the typical, like if you were gonna try and put together a group for Carrion and Scarlet, I'm not gonna be like Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering. Like those
Not a
are
chance I'm putting them in
no.
there.
So I kind of like that, like maybe him and Scarlet are gonna be maybe a little bit more of the supernatural mind games type, and then the Authors of Pain are gonna be the muscle, not like Carrion's not, but like they're gigantic
No, but they
men.
need to protect Carrion because he's this mythical figure. Yes.
Yeah,
I
and
agree with
then,
that.
we'll have Paul there doing Paul things, which is
Because Paul
basically
needs to keep him in line.
yeah, but he also like doesn't really talk. So it's like I think yeah,
Classic manager.
it's going to be really, I think it has all of the makings of something that'll be really really cool. And I do think people are going to love it or they're going to hate it. So
They hate friggin' what's her face.
everybody
They hate
hates
her.
they hate everything. Okay? People hate everything. That's what it is. They like all the good stuff. They hate all the good stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
And then I wanted to make sure that we mentioned this because my boys have not been on Smackdown that much lately. So I want to make sure that we saw that my boys, Pretty Deadly, made sure to come and try and serenade Pete Dunne a little bit backstage by singing him Christmas carols, which I was like,
yes, boy! Yes, boy! Yes, boy! Yes, boy! Yes, boy! Yes, boy!
So I was like, oh, they are gracing you with their presence and you have the audacity to punch them and fight with them. I thought that was very rude. But
It was kind of rude. But they did
just,
antagonize them.
I mean, if you get antagonized by words, then that's on you. So anyway, Nick Aldis is like right there immediately and is like, hey y'all, let's not keep doing this backstage, because this is like the second or third time that they've brawled in the back. And Nick lets him know, hey, if you want to take on Pretty Deadly, find yourself a tag team partner and you can go against them in 2 weeks at New Year's Revolution. So since we know that Mr. Ridge the Fridge is involved in a storyline in NXT right now, and the fact that he literally like left Pete on red on live television.
He really did ghost him, like,
yeah,
on live TV.
Yeah, so we know that ain't happening. People are speculating that maybe it'll be Sheamus, which I haven't heard anything about Sheamus and like what's going on with him. I believe he's injured, but I haven't heard anything to indicate that it's him. Injured. People are thinking maybe it'll be Tyler Bate, because there were a lot of talks of him being bringing up to the main roster, which I think is going to be interesting if we keep seeing those things, because they were making it seem like the only way NXT call-ups were going to happen was through the draft. So I think it would be interesting if we start seeing that old way of where it's like, yeah, we think you're ready to go to the main roster, so let's just bring you. But I would like to think that this might be a little bit more interesting to see who Pete decides to be his partner, as opposed to like not being interesting. Like I would like to think, because it's like, oh, it's going to be in 2 weeks. Like let's have that anticipation.
Big name.
Yeah. So I have no idea who it is, but I'm intrigued. And the part that makes me sad is like Pretty Deadly's going to lose. So
what if they win?
That would be sick. If they don't have a Mania match, I'm going to be so sad. Like, and the thing is I could see them being in like a tag team turmoil match or something like that, like a pre-show match. And that's going to be so sad. Yeah. It's going to be really sad. That bums me out, man. It would be really nice if the tag titles could be split by then, so that maybe they could have like a chance at like the tag titles, but
maybe. Yeah. That's wishful thinking.
I know. Stop being mean.
I'm just being realistic. The truth hurts.
Okay, do you want to get to comments before the main event?
Main event.
Hold on.
Yeah, I was about to say Vinny ain't a Pretty Deadly guy. Vinny.
What do you mean they're not over? What?
I have not seen women in wrestling.
No.
Viking Raiders and Valhalla switching their characters, going more darker side than Viking mythology. See, like, yeah, it's that type of thing that does
Mm-hmm.
well. And there's really no other real comments other than like this stuff. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right. Then we have the main event, which was AJ Styles versus Solo Sikoa. And they were really hyping this because they showed us, I don't know, 3 times throughout the show.
Oh, it's 3 months ago that AJ Styles was attacked.
Okay, so it was 3 months. Okay, well, they showed
I
like
saw
3
that
times.
like 5 times. Yeah, I saw it 3 months ago 3 times.
Yeah, so they made sure to remind us of when they eliminated AJ Styles from Earth on Smackdown. So they were definitely hyping this matchup. And I love that AJ's going with the Shield way of things, like the original Roman, where it's like, I'm just gonna wear like work pants and a belt. That's my ring gear, bro. Like, no, I'm just gonna wear these black pants and a belt.
That's gritty man right there.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, for the most part, this is a match that you expected it to be. AJ's great, Solo's great. It ends in a DQ. And I think it just goes expectingly, right? Because we had just seen that they were going to have a triple threat and everybody's unhappy. So Jimmy comes out, Roman comes out, LA Knight comes out, Randy comes out, all hell breaks loose. And we see they start laying each other out to end the show. So definitely building up that match in 2 weeks, which I think was the right way to go about it, because next week's SmackDown is not going to be a real SmackDown. So this is like our lasting memory going into the next like live SmackDown. So it's like getting you more excited about what that triple threat is going to be. And it let you see that there might be a little bit of animosity in there, even if this was just a randomly put together triple threat match for New Year's Revolution. And things seemed fine the most part, except for with AJ. Like, no, there's a little bit of chippiness here, and there's going to be the match is going to be better than if it was just like 3 random dudes just being thrown in a match that had no history together.
Well, it obviously adds fuel to the fire, but I like how they slowly did it, where they're arguing, and AJ go after LA Knight, and then LA Knight pushes Randy. Like, it's all the frustration building up and going to boil over at some point. And then my favorite part of the whole thing was Roman holding back Solo and Jimmy, being like, no, let them fight it out. Let's be smart about this.
Did he take on LA Knight for a second? He was like, nah. Oh,
he did, because he hasn't taken him down yet, so he's mimicking him. But he was like, hold back, let these idiots fight off. And I like that, because what it does is it makes Rome be like, okay, whoever is the most, like, it's very heel of him. Very heel of him.
Let them ruin each other. Let them beat each other up.
Exactly.
I'll take the leftovers. Basically.
Exactly. And then that's how you get a cheap win. It's brilliant.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I do think that it's going to be Randy, which I think makes the most sense at this point. I mean, I know that they were going to do AJ Styles, but so I would say it's going to be Randy or AJ. But the problem is it's a lot of them trying to figure stuff out, like to get it over with if they're not in the plans for Mania for Roman, So it's like, it's really hard to try and figure out how this is going to end, and like whoever he does face at the Rumble, how they lose, and then how that ends, and whatever. So I'm intrigued, and I'm so excited for that week of shows. I'm so excited for Raw and SmackDown that week, because it's going to be so good. It's like, it's really going to be pay-per-view quality matches on live TV for us.
All right, you're going to hate the comparison I'm about to give, but it's very AEW though.
Okay. Let's not try and act like WWE hasn't given us pay-per-view quality stuff on TV before.
Oh no, I only mean the naming of things. That's really all I'm thinking, is naming these just regular weekly shows something. And I love that element of it, because it makes the show feel that much more important.
It feels, I mean, it could be based off of things that AEW has done, but it kind of feels more like they're taking inspiration from NXT, because NXT's been doing that
NXT.
for so long,
Yeah.
you know? So, because for a long time, they didn't really have their own pay-per-views, you know? So it was like, now they do, or however many years it's been. But like, I like that Triple H is kind of bringing his experience from when he was overseeing NXT onto the main roster, because it does give it like a new feel. Like it does feel like we're in a new era, that it's not just like, okay, Triple H is in charge and he's doing the same stuff that Vince was doing, you know, and it's just like, we're supposed to believe it's new, but it's not. It's like, no, it actually, everything that he's been doing so far, without other than the few things that we've talked about that we don't particularly like, more so me, about the things that he's been doing, it does feel new, and it does feel like they're doing different things than we've seen in a really long time. So I do think that, yeah, naming the Raw and SmackDown of that week is like adding to the excitement of it, because it does then come off even more so like a pay-per-view.
1,000%. I love it.
So that was SmackDown.
That was SmackDown. That was SmackDown. That's really all it was. It was a good show, pretty solid. It furthered some storylines, got me excited for their SmackDown pay-per-view, if you want to call it, you know, New Year's resolution. I'm excited for what we're about to see in 2024. There's a lot of good things heading into 2024.
We're getting so close to like Mania.
I know. Every day.
It hasn't hit me yet, though. I have a lot of things right now going on in my life that haven't hit me yet, and that's one of them.
Yeah, I haven't. I've just been excited. It just hasn't hit me because
it's still
so
like
much else going on. It's so far away.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like still far enough away that it's like you still are like, oh yeah, like I know I'm going, but it's not close enough to be like, oh, I'm excited.
Yeah,
like,
you get the feeling.
It's like once we get into like Elimination Chamber, after Elimination Chamber, once like March hits, and then they're starting once they start talking about Mania and you start seeing the plans come together, that's when it's gonna be like, oh, you know, that's when it's gonna be like, oh my god.
Oh
yeah.
Oh my god, it's Mania.
Oh my god, Mania, WrestleMania. Or
I can't wait.
What is this? WrestleMania, baby. Woo! Do you not remember that?
Big show.
Yeah, okay.
Big show.
That used to be what I always posted when it was WrestleMania day. I would post that on like my Facebook like status. I'd be like, WrestleMania, baby, woo! And like no one got it. They just thought I was like celebrating WrestleMania. And I'm like, no, if only you could hear how I said this. But
if only they could.
Imagine being able to remember a clip from the Big Show in WWF New York from like 25 years ago. That's insane.
It's only us.
That's why
we're pretty fucking cool. That's why we're pretty cool. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning into this edition of the SmackDown Breakdown, part of Pits and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no days and nights off, apparently. We really don't. But you know what? Actually, I take that back. There is always an exception to the rule, and that is Christmas. We got Christmas Eve tomorrow and Christmas on Monday. So we wish all of you here and all of our peeps a very happy, healthy Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. We hope it's happy and healthy. And in the meantime, go check out the YouTube archives, all our videos from past streams, and hit that bell notification, subscribe button to know when we go live. And follow us in the socials down below, link in the descriptions.
And because next week has the holidays and whatever, we will not be doing a Raw Rewind, because Raw is not going to be a real Raw. So Wednesday is when we're going to be going live this week at the normal time. And we're going to be doing like the best of awards. So like our favorite matches, like the best matches, the best superstars, the match of the year, whoever, breakout star of the year, all of that. So check that out. Make sure you are here on Wednesday
this week. We will see you guys then. Thank you for tuning in. God bless. And remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. Have a happy and merry Christmas. Yeah!